Coming up on KUJH News, mail-in ballots process ahead of Election Day.
New building for KU architecture students.
And a haunted hotel in Lawrence.
Live from the studio in Stauffer, Flint, this is KUJH News.
Welcome to KUJH News. I'm Delaney Gregory.
And I'm Colton Kinnan. Just ahead, a look into Lawrence City Commission elections.
But first, we will have a look at the weather. Aiden, will we have a break from the rain?
Delaney, do I have some good news for you. Not only is the rain out of the forecast, but what do I see outside right now? Sunshine. I wasn't sure we'd ever see it again after a week of doom, gloom, clouds, and rain, but sun is here to stay, as well as those fall mild temperatures in those mid 50s to upper 40s, at least until next week. Next Tuesday and Wednesday looks to be a little bit warming, climbing up as high as maybe even 70 degrees, something to look forward to. Now on Sunday, however, daylight savings time is right around the corner. Make sure you set those clocks back an hour. You're going to lose an hour of daylight, but you are going to get an extra hour of sleep, and I could not be more grateful for that. Delaney, back to you.
Thanks, Aiden.
Yeah, even though it's going to be a little sunny, it'll be cold, so my Halloween plans are probably inside this week, Delaney.
Yeah, sounds good to me. And with that, local elections are right around the corner in Lawrence, and officials hope to see more residents, especially students, get out and vote. I spoke with officials and students about how they are preparing for Election Day. This fall, Lawrence voters will decide who sits in 2 city commission seats and 3 school board positions, decisions that impact everything from local housing and transportation to school programs and community development projects. Officials say these elections may not get as much attention as national races, but they affect daily life the most.
This election will have a lower turnout than, say, a presidential election, but this election is just as important. The people who serve on Lawrence City Commission impact your daily life probably more than the president does.
Advanced in-person voting started October 15th and runs through November 3rd, giving voters extra time to cast their ballots. Lawrence also offers several locations across town, including the Douglas County Courthouse and the Kansas Union on campus. Shaw says turnout among young voters is often much lower in local elections compared to national ones.
Especially 18 to 24-year-olds for a presidential election will get about a 50% turnout. For this election, we might get 8% turnout. And so if you want your voice heard, you've got to show up for every election and you've got to use your power in that way.
Election Day is November 4th, but with advanced voting already underway, officials are hoping for record turnout, especially from students ready to take an active role in their community. Other polling locations are all around Lawrence and Douglas County, like the American Legion and Checkers Foods. President Donald Trump says he wants to eliminate mail-in voting before this midterm election, a move that could make it harder for many college students to cast their ballots.
We, as a Republican Party, are going to do everything possible that we get rid of mail-in ballots. We're going to start with an executive order that's being written right now by the best lawyers in the country to end mail-in ballots.
At the University of Kansas, mail-in ballots have become an important option for students juggling classes, travel, and busy schedules. A recent University Daily Kansas survey found that while most KU students vote in person, many rely on mail-in ballots to make sure their vote counts, especially out-of-state students who can't easily make it home on Election Day. Kansas has already tightened voting laws in recent years, and beginning in 2026, mail ballots must arrive by 7 p.m. on Election Day to be counted. That means voters can no longer rely on the state's former 3-day grace period for late mail. Voting rights advocates say these changes could limit access for students, rural residents, and others who depend on voting by mail. As a reminder, in-person advance voting ends Monday, November 3rd at noon, and Election Day is Tuesday, November 4th, with polls open from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m.
Well, nearly 200,000 Kansans could face food shortage and could go hungry if there's not a resolution to the government shutdown. The Kansas Department for Children and Families say SNAP benefits may be delayed if federal funding isn't restored soon.
KUJH's Clarissa Rodriguez joins us in studio to explain what this could mean for Kansas families.
That's right. For many Kansas families, SNAP benefits are what help put food on the table each month. If the federal shutdown continues, that help could soon be put on hold. Governor Laura Kelly is joining the lawsuit alongside more than 20 states suing USDA over SNAP benefits with hopes that the government will use alternative funding to continue SNAP benefits. The Kansas Department for Children and Families says November's Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, otherwise known as SNAP, benefits could be delayed or interrupted entirely if the federal government shutdown continues.
Well, if SNAP benefits are halted for a number of weeks, there will be hunger in this country.
In a letter from the U.S. Department of Agriculture, states were told to hold off on processing November benefits until further notice. SNAP supports more than 93,000 Kansas households, providing over $34 million each month.
Just pretty concerned about how we will fill the need. Places like Harvesters and Just Food have both also said, like, there's really no way for us to be able to completely fill the need that is left by not having SNAP benefits.
Many people already live paycheck to paycheck. And in the region that we serve, and right where you are in Douglas County, we have folks who experience challenges with affordable housing. We have folks who experience challenges with access to affordable health care. So things are already really hard for families.
The potential delay comes just before the holiday season, when food banks are already under pressure to meet higher demand. If no federal action is taken by October 28th, Kansas SNAP benefits in Kansas will be delayed until the shutdown ends. For now, DCF urges families to use their October benefits and stay informed online. Back to you, Colton and Delaney.
Thanks, Clarissa. DCF says SNAP recipients should continue to use their October benefits as usual and complete any required recertifications.
For more information and updates, you can visit dcf.kansas.gov or call 211 to find local food resources. Major changes are coming to federal student loans after the new One Big Beautiful Bill was signed in July. Starting July 1st, 2026, new borrowers will no longer have access to Grad Plus loans, which currently allow borrowing up to the full cost of attendance. Instead, loans will be capped at $20,500 per year for most grad programs and up to $50,000 for professional degrees like law and medicine. KU officials say that students should look into options beyond federal loans such as fellowship and research assistant positions.
The goal is, in addition to finding the right fit, to also finding funding opportunities so that they can graduate with their master's or doctoral degree with minimal debt.
All federal loans will now count toward a lifetime cap of $257,500 per borrower. Parents using Parent Plus loans will also see new annual limits of $20,000 per child with a lifetime maximum of $65,000. The application for federal student aid opened as normal on October 1st, and the priority deadline for filing is February 2nd of next year.
Coming up, a study abroad opportunity in Lawrence's sister county.
And the Haskell women's basketball ring ceremony.
From adversity, we rose. We made history and became pioneers, voyagers, champions, Jayhawks. And when our chant rises, haunting and hallowed, Jayhawks are telling the world what's near. Victory.
Welcome back to KUJH News. The Makers Cube begins construction in 2026. The new light-filled studio hopes to inspire future architects and designers at KU. KUJH's Melina Hesterly has more.
Currently, architecture students are spread across campus. Studio classes in Marvin, Malott, and Snow. The new project is the start of bringing students back into one building.
I am standing where the 6-story mass timber building that resembles the shape of a cube will be standing, bringing new classrooms and studio spaces for students.
It has a lot of interesting spaces for students to come together, for faculty and students to work together.
The design is a collaboration between BNIM, based in Kansas City, Missouri, and Bjorg Ingels, a Danish architect.
I like the design of the building, with the idea of an open concept. It can be good from learning from different classes. The way we could all join together and talk about our designs.
Marvin and Chalmers Hall will also be renovated, creating a pathway and connecting the 3 buildings.
I think it's called the Loop, which is the sort of circulation strategy for the project as a whole. I think the Loop is actually a really good idea.
With construction starting in the new year, current students will not see the cube standing until fall of 2029. For KUJH, I'm Elena Hesterly.
Thank you, Milena. Now, the last big renovation was in 2014, so this renovation will for sure pull in more inspiring architects and designers.
Applications are currently open for Lawrence students interested in traveling to Japan next summer. KUJH's Emma Coffey tells us how this decade-old exchange program is helping to connect cultures across the globe.
Douglas County students are getting the chance to experience Japanese culture through the Sister Cities program. Applications are open for next summer's exchange trip to Hiratsuka, Japan, one of Lawrence's 4 sister cities.
I see these kids making friendships, and I believe that if we're ever going to stop all the hate and the wars in this world, it's going to be because of these kids. It's very powerful when you see a couple of kids who sit down and have so many things in common that you would think that those differences just fade away.
While in Hiratsuka, students will get to stay with host families, experience local life, and even get to attend the city's famous Tanabata Festival, known for its colorful decorations.
Simply being able to experience a culture other than their own also just really helps, create more empathy, create more, welcoming to other people around them.
The program is a partnership between Sister Cities Lawrence and the Friends of Hiratsuka, aiming to strengthen understanding between communities. And with U.S.-Japan relations making headlines, organizers say these connections matter more now than ever.
I see the Prime Minister of Japan, I see our and I see our president meeting together. I can look 20 years from now and I can see a Lawrence student and a Prime Minister from Japan, and they just knowing each other is going to make a world of difference.
U.S. leaders are working to try and strengthen ties with Japan. Selected students for this program will get the chance to do the same, building friendships and connecting cultures one person at a time. For KUJH News, I'm Emma Coffey.
Thanks, Emma. Applications are currently open until November 3rd. Any interested applicants can send an email to this address for the chance to explore the world beyond Kansas.
With the weather, Aiden, what does the weather look like for this Halloween weekend and homecoming?
Colton, it should be a pretty pleasant Halloween overall. 59 degrees for your high tomorrow. A little bit cooler overnight. Those clouds are going to be coming in throughout the day. Temperatures dipping down back to what they were earlier this morning into our overnight hours around those upper 30s to lower 40s. Make sure if you're out trick-or-treating, enjoying your Halloween night, you may want to pack a few extra layers just under your costume, or if you can, you don't really want to get frostbite on Halloween. Oh, it doesn't sound too pleasant to me. Temperatures around our viewing area right now, 48 up in Kansas City, over in Osage City, 50 degrees, Olathe at 51 degrees, Tonganoxie all the way down to Ottawa, 49, as well as here in Lawrence at 49 degrees, a high today of 56 degrees. Should be an overall pretty calm day for you guys. Whatever clouds are lingering around right now, they're largely going to be moving out of our area within the next hour or two. Winds relatively calm as well, in stark contrast to what we saw Monday and Tuesday. Winds about 5 miles an hour out of the west. 56 degrees coming for your high in that 4 o'clock evening hour, by the time the sun starts setting at 6. Temperatures dipping down to 53, 8 and 10 o'clock. Temperatures in those mid 40s, bringing us to an overnight low tonight of 38 degrees. Now, this is going to be coming more in our early morning tomorrow. So for those of you with any early morning jobs like me, or any early classes, may want to get those cars started just a little bit early, get them defrosting and warmed up for you guys. On Saturday though, a little bit less heat, 53 degrees, a little bit less clouds as well, mostly sunny for game day. Sunday through Wednesday though, we can see here temperatures climbing up as high as 68 on Tuesday, 69 degrees on Wednesday, and the sunshine is here to stay. Colton, back to you.
Thanks, Aiden. Seems like it'll be another chilly and fun Halloween here in Lawrence.
Basketball season has officially kicked off at Haskell Indian Nations University, and they opened their year reflecting on the previous historic season.
The Haskell Indian Nations University women's basketball team won their season opener Thursday, October 23rd, as they celebrated their 2025 Continental Athletic Conference Championship.
Yeah, it was a night filled with emotions. I mean,
it's something that, the night began with kind of revisiting where we left off.
Last year's conference title victory granted Haskell an automatic bid to the NAIA National Tournament after defeating Northern New Mexico College 57-52 here in Lawrence, Kansas. As the team made national news with the tournament run taking place shortly after head coach Adam Strom was laid off due to federal budget cuts and continued to coach as a volunteer. The team opened their season at home with a ring ceremony before going on to defeat Peru State 74-69, making the night that much sweeter.
And I think it took me a while to get in game mode. So if the guy leading the charge is kind of taking some time, then the players are going to follow. And that's kind of what we saw. It was just tough for me to observe and coach at the same time. So I think at the end, we just made the plays we needed to play and got some open court plays, which really helped us.
Since the win last Thursday, the team's record sits at 2-1, and Haskell is on the road facing UHSP St. Louis Friday night. For KUJH News, I'm Jude Gussie.
Thanks, Jude. Next week, the Indians will begin a road trip for matchups in Tulsa and San Antonio.
Well, coming up on KUJH News, a view into Big 12 Media Days.
And an update on KU football.
For students searching for a way to stay active in an outdoorsy way, the city of Lawrence has bike trails running in every direction, and with the new bike share program, we can stay in shape as we tour the sights of our beautiful city. Clinton Lake is only a short 30-minute bike ride away from Daisy Hill and has the most incredible sunset location in all of Lawrence. Walking campus may give you the KU calves, but biking can give you the KU thighs. Bike Lawrence today.
Welcome to KUJH Sports. I'm Emma Noble, and it is quite the lovely Thursday. We've had a lot of spooky sports going on this past week, specifically surrounding KU basketball. The men's team took home a major exhibition game against Fort Hays State this Tuesday, holding the Tigers to just 35, the lowest scoring exhibition game in Kansas history. Now, the women also put on a show just yesterday inside Allen against the same team and looked exceptional. Final score was 90-59, with true freshman Jalea Davis absolutely balling out with 29 points. As the conference hosted its annual men's and women's basketball media days for the upcoming season. I was at the two-day event that took place up in Kansas City, where coaches, players, and even some mascots were talking ball. Take a look.
The league is the best it's ever been, and it's been really good over time.
You heard him. Kansas head basketball coach Bill Self is pumped about how the Big 12 Conference is looking and operating this year. The conference kicked off its annual two-day media event inside the T-Mobile Center in Kansas City. All 16 schools were present with picked players and head coaches, including Kansas women's basketball, where head coach Brandon Schneider praised his players on what they've done to impress him the most this preseason.
I think actually something that I have very little to do with, and that's how connected this group has become both on and off the floor in a really short period of time.
That's a shooter right there. Kansas Athletic Director Travis Goff was present for day two, where he expressed his thoughts on the rise of women's basketball watchers and what that means for KU. And the men's team, well, they're sure looking to have an explosive season with all the newcomers they're welcoming this year.
Got some guys that can make plays you can't coach, and I obviously think we're more equipped for what should be an unbelievable league this year.
Hey, yo. Players joined by Coach Self included Flory Badunga, Trey White, and Darren Peterson. Coach Brandon Schneider brought along Samaya Nichols, Elle Evans, and Jalea Davis. Now, you might have heard of a new massive ruling in the world of college athletics made by the NCAA. College athletes and coaches are now allowed to place bets on professional sports. Spooky or superb? Sports director Coop Hannon has more.
Thanks, Emma. And oh my goodness, sports betting has officially taken over. Well, at least we thought it did. On Tuesday, the NCAA Division I board voted to delay the effective date that would allow college athletes to gamble on professional sports, ultimately moving it back from this Saturday to November 22nd. The reason behind the delay? Well, dozens and dozens of pushback. One of the most prominent ones comes from SEC Commissioner Greg Sankey, who sent a letter to Board of Directors implying that sporting integrity will be compromised if changes are approved. This has also been prevalent in the ACC, as Pittsburgh coach Pat Narduzzi called the legislation absolutely one of the stupidest decisions I've ever seen, pointing out that it's no different than smoking, drinking, and doing drugs. It's a bad habit. With so many mini professional athletes currently under investigations for sports betting and 3 basketball NCAA players banned just last month, all eyes will be on the NCAA and the additional conversations that will occur. Now, Division I schools may override a proposal within 30 days if it is approved by less than 75% of the Division I cabinet. I'm betting people will not be thrilled. Back to you, Emma.
You know, Coop, I couldn't see how you'd be wrong. Thank you. Now, KU football has been the talk of the town as they just fell to in-state rival K-State for the 17th straight year. Let's go ahead and check in with KUJH's sports reporter Lexi Urban, who joins us live at the booth now. Lexi, a tough loss last week, but what can we expect coming into homecoming on Saturday?
Thanks, Emma. You know, it's a little chilly over here at David Booth Memorial Stadium. Saturday, though, hopefully the Jayhawks can bring the heat as they take on Big 12 opponent, the Oklahoma State Cowboys. KU enters Saturday's homecoming spectacular 4-4, while OK State is currently riding a 7-game losing streak. The Jayhawks will be led by senior redshirt Jalen Daniels, who recently became a finalist for the William B. Campbell Trophy, an annual trophy that recognizes all the aspects of a student athlete: academic success, football performance, and excellent leadership. This will be KU's second to last home game, with Senior Day coming against Utah November 28th. Well, that's the latest down here at the booth. Tossing it back to Emma in the studio.
Ooh, after last weekend's game, I know we're all itching for a win and to blow out some pokes. Thank you, Lexi. And, I mean, if you're not that quite into sports, but still looking for a little adrenaline rush, last night, KU's Hall Center put on a Haunting Humanities, a sort of spooky science fair for exploring art, history, and literature. KUJH's Olivier Dubois has more on the event. Thanks, Olivier. Information on more events hosted by the Hall Center is available on their website. Now, I hope I didn't spook you all too much on this week's sports recap. Don't pull any tricks on us and stick around. If you're planning on wearing costumes this weekend, Aiden will have your final Halloween forecast right after this break. You're watching KUJH News.
From adversity, we rose. We made history and became pioneers, voyagers, champions, Jayhawks. And when our chant rises, haunting and hallowed, Jayhawks are telling the world what's near. Victory.
Welcome back. Let's get one last look at the weather ahead with Aiden Baugh.
How's it looking for homecoming this weekend, Aiden?
Colton, for your homecoming game day forecast against Oklahoma State, little bit later in the day than what we saw last week against K-State. 3 o'clock is when kickoff is slated to be 51 degrees for kickoff, but we're largely going to be staying the same before the game around the noon hour at 50 degrees, after the game or in the fourth quarter at 49 degrees. Going to be a beautiful day overall to get out there, watch some Jayhawk football. Hopefully they can handle business this week against Oklahoma State. Colton, back to you.
Colton, are you going to the game this weekend?
I will be going to the game, but I'm definitely going to have to wear a jacket on Saturday.
For sure.
Well, since it's the spooky season, we wanted to show you some places in Lawrence that might literally take your breath away. And of course, we had to send 2 reporters because they were both too scared to do it alone.
The Eldridge Hotel was originally built in 1856 and was used to house abolitionists moving to the area from New England.
However, Lecompton was pro-slavery, and the two towns began a series of conflicts that were known as the Wakarusa War.
During this war, the Eldridge Hotel was blown up by a cannon and burnt down for the first time.
That's right, Grant, but it would get rebuilt by Colonel Eldridge right as the Civil War was kicking off.
But it wouldn't last long, because as many of us know, Quantrill and his raiders would invade the city, massacring hundreds of men who were largely unable to fight back.
It was during this raid that the hotel was evacuated and burnt down, with its staff being executed down by the river.
And after all of that, there is still one cornerstone located by room 506 that survived it all.
But the spooky stories with rooms in the hotel don't stop at the cornerstone in 506. You see, there are plenty of rooms in the Eldridge Hotel that are said to be haunted, such as the Crystal Ballroom, the Big 6 Room, and the elevator. We also got exclusive access to see Colonel Eldridge's chair that allegedly never collects dust, and apparently he wants it back.
But that's not the only spooky story that the staff had to tell.
Well, Grant and Tyler, not cool with the jump scares, but good work sharing all the history and scary stories from inside the walls of the Eldridge.
Well, that's all we have for you this morning. Check out KUJH on TikTok and Instagram for exclusive content and keep up to date on the latest stories at KUJHNews.com. I'm Delaney Gregory.
And I'm Colton Kinnan. KUJH News will be back next Thursday at 11:30 a.m. Have a good rest of your week.